This is the absolute worst situation you can find yourself in when online dating. And it's not the one you might think. Messaging and chatting with somebody who you're just not that into. Maybe they seemed really cool initially but then fell off. Maybe you can't remember why you swiped. Or perhaps they're really hot but have the personality of a fucking doornail. Regardless, this situation now sucks. And it's because both of you are now stuck in this illusion of productivity. You feel like you might be getting somewhere on your dating journey, even though the reality is that the two of you just aren't suited. At best, it's a distraction, and at worst, it's taking valuable time away from what you actually want to achieve. I've followed the dating journey of dozens of friends. I've read just about every blog out there about optimizing this kind of crap, and I've spent a lot of time in the economic theory behind online dating. So believe me when I tell you this. Ghosting people can not just be beneficial for both you and the other person, but sometimes even optimal. Now, with that being said, I'm not some heartless dickhead on the internet suggesting that you should be tormenting random strangers for your own amusement. However, ghosting is symptomatic of something that you should be doing 90% of the time when online dating. Qualifying people out. And by that, I mean ceasing to put time and effort into a relationship that's never going to work out. Ghosting achieves exactly this. Here's why this matters. The other day, my friend was messaging me complaining about his luck on Hinge. The 3 people he'd been messaging for the last 4 months had all stopped either responding or had told him that they didn't think it was going to work out. Now, he had to start again from square one. Like the last 4 months had just all been wasted. But do you know the worst part? He wasn't even that into these 3 people to begin with. My advice was simple. I told him that he had absolutely just wasted the last 4 months. However, the people who were ghosting him or calling off with him had actually saved him a bunch more time than that. Also, my brother in Christ, you need to start ghosting people yourself too. The reality is that any relationship is going to need 2 people to be into it. You can't control the other person. However, you can control your own actions. If you don't feel that into the other person, you need to stop wasting your own time. And you need to get back to connecting with people who you might actually be into. Whether that's by swiping or some other mathematically correct way of achieving this. Check the video linked in the description for more info on that one. In the real world, ghosting is often the best way to break things off with somebody that you've qualified out. But there are other advantages as well. In a world with messy people, messy feelings, and no shortage of ambiguity, ghosting is a clear and unambiguous way of communicating your intentions with someone. What's more, ghosting people can avoid you wasting time and emotional resources when saying a messy goodbye to someone. If we take the concepts applied to ghosting and look at the world of investment banking, we find even more advantages to this approach. I once spent a summer working in the dividend arbitrage team of a nasty US investment bank. And one of the things we did was spend tens of millions of pounds in a single day simply to buy the option to buy or sell a share at a later date. In finance, optionality of any kind is valuable. Ghosting leaves a short window of optionality, and that can be valuable in a highly ambiguous world. But there are a few situations where game theory tells us that you should never ghost people. And to examine these situations, we need to understand who you are, where you are, and what you're into. The first case in which you should never ghost people is any time you're in a small population centre. Word gets round, your reputation will take a hit, and people will be less likely to invest time and effort into getting to know you. Secondly, and on a similar note, if you're into some niche interests, for example, the Better Don't Stop Monetizing community, you know who you are. The truth is that the community is simply too small for your misbehaviour in ghosting people to get away unpunished. Word will get around any small community, and as economists like to say, any repeated game features reputation as the number 1 most important priority. Finally, if you, the person that you are, represents something very niche, you have a unique set of preferences or attributes that make you one of a limited number of highly sought after individuals, then do not ghost people. In such a small target dating group, your misbehaviour is bound to stand out and be remarked upon. With all this being said though, if you're a standard issue straight male in an urban population centre, like me, my friend, and about 90% of the people watching this channel, then ghosting may not just be beneficial, it may be optimal. Don't waste your time doing stupid stuff with people that you should have qualified out ages ago. Respect your own time, respect yourself, and know when it's time to call it quits. If you'd like to learn about other stupid but rational stuff that people do when online dating, you can click the video on screen now. And subscribe.